What's going on, everyone? Today in this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my evening routine as a minimalist. I had a lot of fun shooting my morning routine video, probably one of my favorite videos so far. So I thought I would kind of make a sequel to that one about my evening routine. To me, my evening routine is just a few habits I'm trying to implement to make sure I get enough sleep and I'm not feeling exhausted throughout the day. So today I have 7 evening habits of a minimalist. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism content, self-improvement, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you and you end up liking the video, be sure to like and consider subscribing. Let's get started. So the first part of this list is that I cut out caffeine past around noon every day. Actually, in general, I'm just trying to cut back on caffeine. I just know that I consume a lot more than the average person. But I recently read somewhere that the average half-life of caffeine is around 5 hours. And I have a strong feeling that's what disrupted my sleep most nights. Thinking back, if I had a coffee around 3 or 4 or even 5 o'clock, I could be laying in bed around 9 or 10, tossing and turning, wide awake. Avoiding caffeine later in the day helps me make sure that by the time I lay down for the night, I'll have a much easier time falling asleep. I actually recently decluttered most of the mugs I own, and I kept this small one that I think is about exactly 1 cup. And I used to have 2 of these every morning. Now I'm cutting back to just 1. You could argue that my nighttime routine actually starts in the morning when I'm limiting how much coffee I'm drinking. So the next thing I do every night is turn on my salt lamp. I've actually talked a little bit about it before in my bedroom video. It just offers a nice warm ambient light, and I've heard that this orange warm tone of lighting increases our sleep hormone. I've also read that it helps people with insomnia fall asleep. While I don't suffer from insomnia, I imagine that it helps people without it to fall asleep too. It's also just a really nice way to ramp down the lighting in my bedroom throughout the day. Rather than having my lamp on, illuminating my entire room, then going to pitch black, it's a nice way to tone down the mood and just make it get darker in my room in a more natural way. The next thing I do is lay out my EDC for the morning. Believe it or not, this perfectly placed EDC doesn't just fall into place. I set it up at night so I don't have to go looking for any of this in the morning. It's always in the same spot, ready to go, and this way I never lose anything or have to go looking for it. I'm never losing anything because it's either in my pockets, on me, or on my desk. The next thing here is I try to stay off any apps or electronics for the last hour or so before I go to bed, and I'm still definitely struggling with this one. I heard somewhere that the blue light from screens just disrupts our sleep patterns and increases our stress hormone, making it more difficult to fall asleep. When the day is done and we don't have anything else to do but go to sleep, it makes it a lot easier to just sit on our phone and keep scrolling for entertainment. I'm trying to make my nighttime routine more about me getting good sleep rather than seeing what everyone else is up to and seeing the news, because I really don't want that to be the last thing I think about before I go to bed. However, if I do look at any screen or do use my phone, it's almost exclusively for Spotify, and I just listen to lo-fi. Now, the next habit is pretty simple, and that is just leaving a water bottle by my bed when I go to sleep. I'm pretty sure all of us, at least once or so a week, wake up in the middle of the night practically dying of thirst, so I do this to avoid that. But aside from that, it's mostly for the morning where I chug it as soon as I wake up. I've touched on how important drinking a lot of water is in the morning, so I'm just kind of trying to set myself up for an easier morning. I also try to make sure I make my room as cold as possible. I've always kept a fan in here just for the white noise, but I like the circulation and I get hot really easily, and I don't have a ceiling fan in here. I read that sleeping in a cold room increases our melatonin production in our bodies, which is our natural sleep hormone. I've actually always liked sleeping in the cold, so I was glad to find this out later. And the last thing here is to make my room completely pitch black. Before anyone catches this and says something, yes, I do turn the salt lamp off before I go to bed. I used to always sleep with my TV on, and I felt like I couldn't sleep without it. I actually know a lot of people like that. But going back to screens not being good for our sleep, I think having all those flashing lights on while we're sleeping can really just disrupt our sleep patterns. And since getting rid of my TV and sleeping in the pitch black, I've noticed it helps me stay asleep better throughout the night rather than waking up once or twice. And yes, my bed did change a little bit. I have this Japanese style floor bed now, and so far I'm really liking it. But anyways, maybe you got some ideas and habits that you want to implement into your evening routine to get some better sleep and just feel better throughout the day. But I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, consider leaving a like and consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you next time.